All right, hello everybody. Woo! Welcome to Laser Brains. This is your co-host Michael, and as always, I'm joined by
Joshua Mervell, and today we're reviewing
Say
the night. Oh, wait
what?
a minute. Oh.
I'm confused.
I don't have a cool nickname yet. No one assigned me one. So
That's true.
it's Nicole.
We're working on that, Nicole.
Guess
Yes.
But until we,
Did I say the wrong name?
I think you said the wrong name. I think your name's actually Champ Ian.
That's right. Maybe I'm in disguise.
Yes.
Because today we're reviewing the 1968.
No, 64.
1964. James Bond.
From Russia with Love.
From Russia
Yes,
with
that's
Love.
right. And to celebrate, we have our James Bond expert here.
Oh my God.
Nicole.
What a startup.
Yeah.
Not expert.
Nicole, you've actually read some of the novels, right?
But only one.
Okay, which
Yeah.
one?
I even forget right now.
You don't remember which one?
It made
Just trying to show off, and you had it on your hand that one time.
It's Goldfinger, but
Goldfinger.
it's a
Okay.
couple. It's later than this one, so
It's later. But
Yeah.
that's okay, because the movies were adapted out of order. But here's the thing. The most important thing to talk about first is that Champ Ian, you've never seen a James Bond film.
This is my first James Bond film experience.
Wow.
Yeah.
So for me, I'll just say I saw clips when I was a little kid, but then when the Pierce Brosnan GoldenEye came out, like the month before that, me and V, you remember V?
I remember V.
Of course.
Hey, V.
We marathoned like as many James Bonds as we could before it came out, and then the rest of them after, and we saw all of them. And I've seen all the movies maybe 3 times. Nicole, what's your experience with Bond?
Well, I love it. This is an awesome movie. I think it's just has the best of everything. This movie specifically has a little bit of like all the James Bonds that you have in the book or you have on film. A little bit of gadgets, the girls, the mission, the evil guy. You know what I mean? It just covers a lot. James Bond's good with that through and through, but I really do like the ending as well in Daniel Craig's series so far.
Sure.
But it progresses really well for 26 films, if I'm not mistaken. That's a pretty good story.
It's definitely an uneven series. There's some good ones, there's some bad ones, and I've seen them all many times, and I have a love for James Bond, but this is possibly my favorite. It's in my top 2 or 3.
And it's Sean Connery. We didn't even
And it's
say
Sean
that.
Connery.
Yeah.
So it goes downhill from here, is what you're saying.
Well, let's put it this way. Even though this is my favorite, I can also see that there's flaws in it, and that's all I'm going to say for now. But Champ Ian, I want to know what your impression is of this film.
Yeah, kind of me too, actually.
It was really, really hyped up. And it is, I mean, I'm sure you both know, seeing something that is hyped up is always a bit of a letdown.
Sure.
So this movie was not the tour de force that I was necessarily expecting. It was still a good movie.
Okay.
And for a movie from 1964, 63,
I think 64,
60
yeah.
something, 60s.
We'll edit this out.
Yeah. No, we're going to actually loop that a couple times.
Yeah.
It's very competent, interesting, funny, good special effects. I can see why it became the cultural touchstone
Sure.
that it ended up being. Watching it now through the lens of what movies are nowadays, even in terms of characterization and plot and story, it's a little bit weak. But also very, very simple and easy to understand. Oh, what's happening? James Bond is going to pick up this code breaking machine, and he has the help of a Russian spy,
Tatiana.
who we know is a double agent. Although as things progress, we are like her double agency is called into question.
Sure.
So it's interesting, simple to understand, not overly complicated. Yeah, it worked.
Nicole, you have a lot to say, it sounds like.
No, what I really like about it is that it does have these drop lines, like how they meet people on, after the train leaves, he's like, oh, do you have a match? He's like, well, I have a lighter. And he's like, oh yeah, it's the best, you know what I mean? Whatever
It's
he says.
even better
Yes,
until it
it's
doesn't,
not, yeah. And a few other drops, right, where he's looking for the coins. He knows if he opens his suitcase incorrectly, this thing's gonna blow. Like, there's just a bunch of setups that you forget about throughout the film that they always come back on. Like, it's great.
I talked about this with the other Ian 2.0, and he mentioned the Chekhov's gun. There's so many setups and payoffs in this film. Like, pardon me, the briefcase. Of course, that's the only one I remember. But the briefcase is one, and there's a few other ones that I forget. But it's let's put it this way. I've seen all the Bond films, and I think this one is the most like measured and meticulous about the story. Like it's very slow paced. Like as they go on, they get more about spectacle. Like if you get to, I think it's You Only Live Twice. That's the one with the big headquarters in the volcano.
Yeah.
Right. It gets crazy. It gets like literally Dr. Evil level crazy
I was
after
just
this.
gonna say that.
But this film is very low key. Like the climax of the film is all on a train in this tiny little room that's as big as the set, and that's what I love about this. And they focus so much on Tatiana's character, the subtlety of her like double agency, and also the helper from Turkey. I don't remember his name. The guy who helps him the whole movie. What's his name?
Oh my God.
You read the book. You should know his name.
Not this one.
Yeah, no.
As soon as you asked me, I was like,
but he's cool. But the other thing that Ian 2.0 pointed out is how many similarities there are between this and Indiana Jones, which is something Spielberg and Lucas said they wanted Indiana Jones to be the cinematic son of James Bond. And if you think about it, in this film, he's got his helper, his Middle Eastern helper. He's underneath in the sewers, just like in the third Indiana Jones film. He's got the Russian. Well, it's German in Last Crusade, but there's a little bit of similarities there, right? Like going to an exotic country and experiencing exotic cultures. There's definitely some similarities there.
Not to mention the cool as a cucumber protagonist.
Oh fuck yeah, 100%. So you know what? Okay, skip to this part. This is the most important part. We're gonna have a conversation now about how hot Sean Connery is. Okay, so here's the thing. Okay, first, Nicole, Sean Connery, what's your impression of Sean Connery as a leading man?
can we just give like a 1 out of 10 rating?
Sure.
Okay, I think it's a 7. A solid 7.
A solid 7. That's not very high, though.
Well, he's not my James Bond, though.
Oh, who's your James Bond?
Roger Moore.
What's he out of 10?
Probably like an 8.59 out of 10.
Interesting. Well,
Yeah.
then who's a 10 out of 10?
I don't know.
Okay.
You never give a 10 out of 10,
never
right?
give a 10 out of 10.
I reserve
gotta-
it for a special day, but I still have a few 10 out of 10s. I do.
Damn.
I do.
Well, keep that to yourself.
Yeah. But
If you made that list, you're
okay, so here's
special.
the thing is that I think Sean Connery could be the coolest leading man, ever. But one thing I will admit, is that people in the 60s aged at a more rapid rate than they do now. Sean Connery was only like 30.
28.
Yeah, he was like 18
33
when he did this film. No, he was like about 33, 34, but he looks 54. Like, Ian, what do you think
Yeah,
there?
no,
What's the deal?
it's interesting. It's interesting. James Bond has this mythos about him where he's this dashing ladies man, sexiest
He
man
is,
alive.
Arguably, and he is.
Arguably, you have to look at it through the lens of the time that these people existed on the screen, and it's so weird. You see these memes that they come through Instagram every once in a while, and they'll show the ages of actors.
Yes, like Timothée Chalamet looks like you know what I'm talking about. Timothée Chalamet. Yeah. He looks like a 5-year-old compared to the same age Sean Connery at the time. Looked like a grandfather, right?
Yeah. And the one that sticks in my head is like Carol O'Connor from All in the Family, who was like 33.
Yeah, exactly.
Playing like this grizzled old man.
I know, right? I know.
Or like what's her name from Mama's Family, or the Golden Girls.
Yes.
They were all
like,
so
it
young.
was the time. That's what happens when you're like consistently smoking and your parents were smoking. Like,
and drinking
it's
every day.
time.
You're right. You're right.
But nowadays,
does,
it's true what they say. 50 is the new whatever.
Yeah.
Right?
That is
And
what they say.
when you're talking about Sean Connery, he looked so old.
Yes, he did.
So old.
I don't know. I thought he was a fox. So.
But he's cool as fuck. Let's be clear. He's very cool. He's very debutante. He's very smooth. I love him in
He's
his role.
proper.
I think he's the best. I think he's the best Bond. Pierce Brosnan's number 2, but I think Sean
Pierce
Connery's number 1.
Brosnan is not number 2.
Okay, we need Dawn for this argument, but she's not here.
It's not number 2.
By number 2, he means he's shit.
Yeah. Okay. Stop.
That's acceptable. It's, Like,
So-
it wasn't always Pierce. It's the writing for that one too. It's not
they're
the
solid.
best
We're
written
going to get
movie.
to those later, but okay, let's talk about the plot in this movie. So, I love like the form, and again, Ian, this is your only Bond film, but I love the formula of like Bond comes into the office, he has a few quips with Moneypenny, he gets the assignment from M, And then there's and then I love the fact that just like because I was rewatching Man with the Golden Gun, I love the fact that when he gets the evidence in Man with the Golden Gun, it's reviewed by like M and Q and a few other guys. And in this one, they do the same thing where they have the evidence and they're all sitting around the table and they're listening and they're I love the fact that they're all like reviewing it. Of course, in this film, they have the added gag of the fact that he's been recording, what's her name? Tatiana.
Yeah.
And she starts, oh, James, make love to me all day or whatever. Oh, and he's like, M's like, how do I get this off? It's so fucking
But
funny.
then as soon as James Bond leaves the room, they all hit play again
I know,
because they want to play the rest of it.
I love it.
The nice part is that even Moneypenny's like, I want to hear how this goes.
Yeah, she
She's
goes
all
in and
like,
turns on the
and then he
little
calls
thing.
her. It's very good.
I love that shit.
It's
I
really
love
good.
it.
Moneypenny, I know you're listening to this right now.
Yeah,
so.
calls her right out. But there's a subtle hint of like that kind of charm in most of the movies.
Sure.
There's always something where he gets caught doing something he's not supposed to.
But it's completely expected. Everyone knows.
She's literally
James,
hired, and she's
that's
like,
Jimmy.
"You do everything this
Yep.
man tells you," and she's like, "Okay, I have to."
And there's
I
also
see
like
your picture.
as the movies get on, they get more. There's more spectacle, more action, and more campy humor. But this film's humor is a little bit more subtle. Like even M is not. Like M starts to become a little bit more of like almost like the Lethal Weapon boss.
Oh shit, really?
A little bit. But in this movie, it's a little bit more subtle. And even Q becomes a little bit funnier. But in this one, it's very serious. He comes in with the briefcase. He shows him what to do. But later on, the rapport develops, right? Like, you pay attention, Bond, you know. But this one's a little bit more subtle, right?
But like, this is what I mean by this is a perfect film for a first Bond film.
Sure.
If you really wanted to get into it, simply because it starts getting that humor. They're starting to take note. The audience is liking this little witty kind of like one-liners. The relationship between Moneypenny and Bond grows. Like M gets a little bit of a sense of humor.
Sure.
You know, like they all kind of build this character, and this kind of starts it because the other ones can be a little bit dry, but this one kind of has everything. Yeah. It just covers all the bases of where this is like, oh, we have profit for this now. We can start actually like building this stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
And so the other thing too is that it's been a long time since I've seen Dr. No, but this film, I believe, is the first appearance of Spectre, right?
In any form, yeah.
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 And we talked about this. The idea of this bad guy with this cat on his lap was then picked up by many films. Inspector Gadget, like
I religiously watched that show when I was like 4 years old.
Austin Powers, of course, direct parody, right?
Yeah.
Like even The Godfather, like Don Corleone has a cat on his lap just like that. And it's like apparently Marlon Brando just thought of that on the spot, but I'm like, it's kind of recalls this right here,
totally
right?
Does.
Also, the character is called number 1, number 2, number 3, which was picked up in Austin Powers, right?
I know, it has a lot of reference.
We also never see the bad guy's face, Ernst Blofeld. In the credits, he's credited as question mark. I love
that. That
it.
is a really lovely touch.
Yes.
That they didn't give it away.
Just little things like that.
I found myself giggling a little bit through those scenes because in my brain it was the cat that was talking.
Sure. Yeah.
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
You won't not be able to now.
I won't ever be able to watch the film. I'll be like,
you.
oh my gosh, the cat's Blofeld. That makes sense. Damn.
So I talked about like there's little moments in this film that like stand out to me, like just little shots, like when Bond comes out of the airport, or I think it's the airport or the train station. There's that nice reverse dolly shot of him just walking. It's almost like a Tarantino shot. It's so good. And the music is playing on the soundtrack.
Filmmaker.
It's so freaking good. It's like perfect, right?
It is shot really well.
And then there's like just like the classic shots of Robert Shaw, who we know. Have you seen Jaws?
Yes, but a long time
Robert
ago.
Shaw is the old timer in that film. That's like, 23 of us went out, only 2 of us came back or whatever. In this film, he has no lines for the first hour and a half. Yeah. Right? But he's the one that's always watching him, spying on him. And then at the end of the film, he comes through as like a guy pretending to be his buddy.
Hey, old man.
Yeah, it was great. But then there's a few things, and I was talking about this with Ian and Heather. There are a few things I agree are weaknesses in the film. There's 3. Right. There's 3 I can think of. One is the whole battle, the blood feud of the gypsies.
Yeah.
They could have cut that completely out of the film.
Or made it like,
a lot shorter.
Better.
Or better. The other thing
better
too
fight,
is, and I talked about this with Ian, is that it felt like the train was the climax of the film, and it probably could have been the last big action scene, but then they have the boat chase, and or then they have the helicopter thing.
Then they had the maid. No, it was the maid.
I think
that
the maid
in.
was. I think it would.
It was to wrap up her story, though.
Right.
It
It could have gone train then maid.
They never
That's
leave
it.
anything open, really.
So what do you think, Nicole? What do you think of those scenes?
Which scenes? What do you
The
mean?
ones, the gypsy,
the one where they're like the belly dancer scenes.
Yeah, the blood feud.
Yeah,
the
of
whole
course. No,
shoot
I
'em
agree
up.
with you. They could have dropped it, but it builds the story, and kind of it's necessary for Bond's charm to kind of build in the movie too. Because in the beginning, if you remember, there's a lot of just talking and exchange, not a lot of like, "Come here, lady," you know. So they kind of started it around that time. They're like, "Oh yeah, you pick between these two girls.
they're yours now."
Yeah,
Oh.
and he's just like, "Okay, well, we want to go out to the market. I don't know what to." So it builds the persona of him. It's required for that reason. So they couldn't have totally ditched it, but they didn't have to.
They could have
girl fight
tweaked it
the way they did. It was bad, but classic,
Champion. What do you think?
endearing.
Yeah, I agree with that. Were there other characters in those scenes that we were meeting that were instrumental for later on?
Here's the
Not
problem.
really.
I don't think so. Like,
No.
if there were, like, we didn't need to see so much of the shootout.
No, yeah.
Right?
And I think that the reason why they kept most of those scenes is because they wanted to use those belly dancing shots.
Right.
Like that's
Obviously,
and that
It's a
calls
Bond
back
film.
to the very interesting opening credit scene,
Yeah.
which I thought was really well done. So it was a callback to that, but it just went on for too long. The helicopter and the boat scenes, fun for what they are, but completely unnecessary. And I think that that's a pretty good example of a movie that has a little bit too much of a budget.
Sure.
Oh, we have all this extra money left
but
over. Let's
the
blow some
time-
shit up.
Yeah, it was the
And-
time. They just wanted to be like, James Bond's gonna be exciting now. There's explosions.
Yeah, but we didn't need it because
I
at
know.
that point
Right.
they'd
No, I
already
agree.
gotten away.
Yeah.
They'd already
Like,
gotten
if
away.
they would have, we talked about this with Last Starfighter, if they would have shuffled the deck and put the boat scene earlier.
Yeah.
Or put
Yeah.
the.
Like maybe they need to get to the train via
yeah.
boat.
Because
Yeah.
once you get to the train, it's so long and drawn out that it feels like, okay, this is the climax.
But
And
this
it's
is,
well done.
This is what they mean by sticking to the book a bit more, because it's like this is a true Ian Fleming novel, right? So it gets different after this, after people start taking over the writing of it and changing the movies and
Right.
making it their kind of own Bond. That you get deeper into it, and that's around the time where Roger Moore shows up, and then it's a totally different movie anyway, right?
Right. And I don't know how close they were to the novel, but it
And
definitely
George
feels.
Lazenby before that.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it definitely feels
Or
like they were
Lazenby.
following the novel, but I haven't read the novel, so I don't know how close they were with those extra
Mm-hmm.
scenes. But the train scene I thought was very well done. With like, okay, he's on the train with Tatiana, and we know that she's a double agent, but he doesn't know. And then the other guy shows up, and then or he's kind of watching him. Then he gets off, and they get back on, and the guy's there.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he's a British accent, so you're like, okay, what the hell's going on? All that is so well done. And then the whole scene with the briefcase I thought was great. When he's pulled the gun on him and he's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, can I just have a cigarette? I'll even pay for it."
Yeah.
And what does he say? 25. What are they called? Gold.
Sovereigns.
Yeah, sovereigns. I love that whole bit. And again, it's so low key. Just in this
Yeah.
little train,
Yeah.
right?
Classic Bond. That again, this is why this is a wonderful roundup movie. Like it just has, he outsmarts people still. He's still Bond. He's not only playing dirty. He's not only shooting people. He's literally outsmarting the villains, which is why he's the best. That progresses really lovely throughout the movies as well.
I'm pretty sure James Bond also invented the one-liner in this film, if not in Doctor No. But like, there's so many, like when he's first meets Tatiana and he's like, "Oh, you're so beautiful." She's like, "Oh, I think my mouth is too big."
No, it's the perfect
No, it's
size.
just the perfect size for me.
Look at the time frame. Okay,
Perfect.
it works. It's
Also,
really,
even just
and then
that-
it just focused on her lips for
I know,
way
for
too
like
long.
this huge close-up of
it's
her.
so awkward.
And there's so many one-liners like that, like those double
Yeah.
entendres. Like, why not? Right?
When she died at the end, he was like, I guess she didn't get her kicks because she was like
Yeah.
trying to,
Oh!
Yeah,
she's
I
trying
love
to
it.
kick stab him. Like
I love
it
it.
is. It's really, it's funny though. He's supposed to be like a funny, charming,
That's how we know that he's
Bond.
cool and casual.
Badass
He
guy.
slips a little one-liner in there.
He's also, we talked about this earlier. He also gets one slap in
He got one slap.
So
one full
slap. I mean, James Bond in the novels apparently is a little bit more violent, a little bit more rough.
Yeah.
Like in Man with the Golden Gun, he twists the girl's arm and he threatens to break her arm. In this film, he gets a slap in. So it's a different time.
Slapping.
Right? He's a little bit more cold-hearted, I think, in the olden days, right?
And it's nice because, again, as the Bonds progress, you get Roger Moore in, who is like, I'm not slapping anybody.
Right.
Sorry.
He's funnier and nicer.
Doesn't want to smoke on. So he changes a lot of it too. But that's again why it depends on your Bond or the movie you're watching. This one's just my favorite of Sean Connery's because I think it really has everything that you expect from the book if you had the chance to read it. Like it's exactly how you'd picture James Bond. This movie kind of has everything. I like it.
Champion.
Would recommend.
Yes.
So, Ian 2.0, he likes this film, but he only gave it a 6 out of 10.
Okay.
What would you give this film?
I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. Like
It's not a terrible Ian rating.
Not masterpiece.
Sure.
But like I get it and I understand it and I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And I respect it. I respect it an awful lot. It's not, and again, this sort of movie just might not be for me.
Sure.
Right? I mean,
Yeah.
there's a lot of people that haven't seen James Bond movies. I mean, like we watch a lot of Red Letter Media. I think Jay Bowman has gone on record, at least at some point, to say that he's never seen a James Bond film.
Interesting.
But this is the best part about it. This might not be your Bond. You have to watch them all now to figure out which
Michael
movies
Myers is my James Bond.
Would you watch any more?
I'm sure that I would, but this is the point that I was going to make is that it didn't really grab me to the point that I'm going to run home and download the rest of them. I mean, buy legitimate copies of the rest of them.
Yeah, that's what you
and
meant to
then,
say.
and watch
Definitely
them.
not
Like it's not something that if it shows up in the calendar, I'm going to be irritated about.
Sure.
And it's not something that if I'm hanging out with somebody and they're like,
we have
hey,
it
do you want to
on?"
watch a
Yeah.
movie? Yeah, you get to pick. Well, what are you going to pick? James Bond? Yeah, I'd watch it.
You know, it's funny because when I first watched these with V, it took a while to get into it. And I do remember thinking this was one of the better ones, but I didn't. I think it took until maybe Goldfinger or Thunderball because that's when it gets into its groove. I think critically this is considered the best one.
Yeah.
But the most popular ones are probably GoldenEye and Thunderball, I think.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I don't know because I didn't like the Pierce Brosnans at all. So sorry,
well,
Pierce.
there's a few good ones in there.
I really don't think
there's good and bad ones from each actor,
I don't like
right?
Yeah, I probably would not watch those ones again.
Interesting.
Unless I was watching all of them in consecutive order, because then I'd feel guilty. I'd be like,
yeah,
well,
you have to watch them all.
I have to watch them all.
And I think I told you about Ian, my habit of when I watch a movie series, I never watch one in isolation. I have to watch them all.
Does this mean you're going home to watch 20
tonight?
5 more movies?
No, because he already missed. You missed a couple.
Well, because I missed Dr. No. Now I have to go back and watch Dr. No because Dr. No was the first one.
And now you got to watch this again.
Yeah. Well, no, because now this one I've seen now 5-ish times. Dr. No I've only seen 4. So now I have to watch Dr. No, so it's an even 5.
But then
you see what I mean?
So it's not about watching them in sequence as much as it is watching them all equally.
That's more so that.
Well, that's
anyway,
just
what's
weird.
the point of
yeah,
that?
it's a little weird, but I just can't watch one more than the other. I just can't.
Okay, all right.
Anyway, this is why I'm so cool. Anyway, okay, so you said you gave it a 7 out of 10?
I gave it a 7, yes.
I'll give it an 8 with the caveat that there's flaws that I would fix if I was the editor. Mm-hmm. Nicole, what would you give it?
I'd give it a 9 because I thought it was great. I thought it was so great. It's so good. It's really just has
that's not a reason.
Okay.
It's really great. Watch the movie.
Also, music. Okay, I have to go on the record and say that I think the James Bond theme could be the best movie theme. One of the best movie themes I've ever heard. One of the best. It's so freaking good. The main one? The main actual theme is so good.
That's something we didn't even talk about either because Ian's only seen one. Just watch all of the opening themes. Mm-hmm. They're fantastically done. Okay. Just amazing.
I'm sure I could find a YouTube video somewhere that's like all James Bond
totally
intros.
Means purchasing all the movies to watch these legally. We're with you. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But it's the best. I like the theme and I really love the music for James Bond. Plus Monroe's really awesome. This song From Russia with Love is it's really good. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I thought the music was spectacular. Although some of the musical placement didn't quite work for me.
Okay, well, it's one.
When
I know because there's one I can think of, but
when James Bond got to the hotel.
I knew it. Looking for the
and
bugs.
he's looking for the bugs, and it's this.
He's just walking.
And he's like looking behind it.
Like a painting. I know.
Yeah, like what you need right there is quiet.
I agree.
If you want to have some music,
yeah,
like
I know.
have like
it's such a long scene for how picked up the like.
I know.
He's literally scanning the phone and it's like. Bah, 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 bah.
I know.
Whoa, what's happening?
I know.
And that's
really
fine. But then, like when you're having helicopters explode later, like you need somewhere
There's
for
no
the music
music.
to go.
I know,
right?
I
You
know.
have to go up from there.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
It's a very good point.
Yeah, like
no, you know what's funny? I think it just shows that they were finding their legs, like because it took. I don't think there was a theme song in the first one. Like I don't think there was
In
like,
Dr. No?
I don't think there was like a hit single song until this
I don't
movie.
remember.
And I think each movie they added elements until they got to the third, and then everything was in place. I think.
Yeah.
I think from what I remember.
But the gun scene at the beginning is in Dr. No as well. It's in all of them.
It's in all of them.
Yeah.
Another fun fact: that guy at the
If that's what
beginning
you're
is
talking
not
about.
even Sean Connery. It's just like
Just
a
some
random-
guy.
Well, they didn't
Yeah.
know they would do it again. And
Yeah.
and like I was telling somebody earlier, this time frame didn't really expect that you'd own the movie and be able to binge watch it at your house and be
Right,
like, what are
right.
they doing with that? Why is
Yeah.
that? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? They thought
Who's that guy? That's
people were
not-
going to the
Yeah.
movie theater to see this one time, love the movie, and then remember it for their whole life, apparently, because how would you own it? It's not going to be on TV or anything at that time. So that's why they got a lot of like these little flaws through.
Sure. They were just making it up as they go, right?
They just
didn't
were like,
know.
who's going to see this twice and like know exactly what
Right.
the flaw is?
Nobody's gonna pay to see a movie 2 times.
Yeah, exactly.
The same movie? It's ridiculous.
Or watch it 60 years later at Meteor in 2025.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
But we did.
We did.
Right? And every Wednesday at Meteor, we watch a different movie. Coming up after this is
Fletch.
Fletch.
You know, I was thinking about Fletch as I was watching this
Because he's also a...
because he's
just-
also a super secret spy.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think
Fletch is
Fletch
better?
is a little.
I do love Fletch, so I can't criticize anything Fletch.
That's a good call.
Yeah,
But...
yeah. I don't think I'm gonna make anyone angry with that take, like in the
No.
world.
No, I think you're right. I think everyone's going to love Fletch. But anyway.
I don't really care if anybody liked Bond. I just want to go on the record and say that I loved it. It was very,
I loved it too.
loved
I loved it
I was
too.
so happy to see it here.
I appreciate everyone that came out tonight. We do movie night every week at Meteor, courtesy of Champion.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Joshua Mervell could not be with us tonight, but hopefully
Gosh,
he'll be
shame,
with us next
Josh.
time.
We're judging you.
We want to thank Nicole for joining us, being our
Thank you,
special
Nicole.
Bond
Replacing Josh.
expert. She's
No, you're
read one
replacing. You're
novel.
replacing me. I'm replacing Josh.
All right.
Okay, so yeah, be sure to join us next time. Be sure to check out our episodes on comicbooksyndicate.com and YouTube, right?
Yeah, I think that's what Josh usually says.
Usually,
Yeah.
yep. And until the next time, see you later.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Bye.